Grameen Shakti. This is our alternative energy company in Bangladesh. Now, this particular company provides solar energy. It also provides biogas facilities, and it also have an efficient cooking system. Efficient cooking system so that the burden on our forest is reduced. Biogas system, because most of the developing countries, they have cattle, and the cattle waste could be used to produce biogas. And their rule of thumb is if you have 3 cattle in your household, they produce enough waste that you could generate enough biogas for you to cook 3 meals a day with that biogas. That reduces, again, the burden on your forests. Then it has solar panels. In Bangladesh, we have about 38% of our population is covered by electricity. On top of it, the electricity is not provided to people for more than 8 or 10 hours a day. Inefficiency, or the system loss in our grid, is about 40%. So 62% of our population who is not getting electricity, this particular company has taken the role of providing them the lights in the dark. Now, if you think about Bangladesh is a very poor country, how can they afford solar panels? Again, I challenge you to come and study this company. This particular company, it started about 7 years ago. To date, it has sold more than 300,000 solar home systems in Bangladesh alone. Our solar home systems ranges from $250 to about $1,000. These are, people's year worth of income in many cases. How can they afford it? So I'll share this story of how can they afford it. So in many ways, Grameen, or many of the products that we have, we don't consider ourselves as a product company. We consider ourselves as people company. So this particular company went to villages, talked to people, and said, here is the solar panel, and it can generate electricity for you. It will give you the light in the dark. And it helped people to see that if they buy this solar panel, they will be able to keep their shops open for additional 4 hours or 5 hours every day after dark. Maybe that will help them have an incremental income every day. So for example, if the incremental income is $100 a month for that person, they asked, could you afford to take $10 out of it and pay towards this system? So in many ways, Grameen does not really push a product. It really works with people and identifies how that product or the technology could be integrated with people's lives so they can afford it, so that it becomes applicable and very relevant. That's what this company did. Today, Grameen Shakti sells about 6,000 solar systems every month. Now let's talk about another thing this particular company is doing. In Bangladesh, if you go around some of the villages where the solar panels are bought, and if you look at the roof sometimes, you'll see a very middle-aged lady sitting on the rooftop fixing solar panels. This particular company took the challenge that for the repair and maintenance, they are going to train uneducated, illiterate village women to fix and repair the solar panels. And their goal is to have 100,000 green jobs by 2015. Today, they have about 2,700 female maintenance workers working for this company. So not only this company is providing electricity, just think about what other impacts it is creating. Simple ideas, people-driven ideas, that's what they're doing. Talk about in the telecommunications sector, Grameen Phone. Grameen Phone happens to be the largest telecom company in Bangladesh. Bangladesh has about 46 million subscribers, and Grameen Phone has about 22 million out of that, about 48% of the market share, subscriber base. But it controls about 64% of the total revenue in the marketplace. In 10 years, mobile phone penetration went from 0 to almost 46 million. How did it happen? So step back, around early 90s, when Dr. Yunus talked about mobile phones, that we should use mobile phones in Bangladesh, people laughed at him. They said, people doesn't have enough to eat. They cannot afford the clothes. How could they afford a cell phone? And it used to be very expensive at that time. The call rate used to be very expensive also. So simple idea he had. Again, Dr. Yunus, just like Grameen Bank, he looked into, he gave the responsibility to the village ladies. So he took that cell phone, gave it to the village lady, and said that you have to pay me back this much money every month because you are renting it from me. In return, she walks around the villages and sells that minute to other villagers. So she made handsome profit out of it. Dr. Yunus got, or the Grameen phone, got the money back for the investments. And ultimately, it really helped people to see the benefit of a cell phone, a mobile phone. In 10 years, we have 46 million users in Bangladesh using cell phones. So it's never the price or the cost of the technology. It's how you approach it, how you help integrate that product or the solution or the idea in people's lives. That's where the challenge remains. Microfinance. As you know, Grameen Bank is the most well-known of Grameen organizations. In Bangladesh alone, it has 7.5 million borrowers. And if you think there is about 5% per family, it reaches out to about 35 million people in Bangladesh. 97% of that 7.5 million borrowers happens to be female. Now, again, think about how did Dr. Yunus really start Grameen Bank? So in many ways, he jokingly shares this story that it was very simple for him to develop the concept because he saw the conventional bank was not catering to the poor. So he said, my job was very simple. Whatever the conventional banks are doing, I'm just going to do the opposite. So he said that conventional banks caters to the rich. So my bank is going to cater to the poor. Conventional bank give preference to the people who has the highest amount of money. He said, I'm going to give the preference to people who have nothing. Conventional banks caters to male population. He said, I'm going to cater to female population. Conventional banks takes your collateral, guarantee, and all those things. And he said, there will be no collaterals. It will be trust-based. I'm going to give money, and I'm going to expect people and trust people to pay that money back. Today, Grameen Bank has 99% repayment, higher than any conventional bank you can imagine. Through the Grameen Bank, in Bangladesh, we saw a revolution. If you go to the villages in Bangladesh, you will see the very empowered female population. You go and ask them, they will tell you what is working in their lives and what is not, what they need and what they should go after. They will give you advice. They will teach you a thing or two. Besides the microfinance, Grameen Bank also is involved in various creative social ideas. I'll just share one story. In Bangladesh, Grameen Bank, besides regular microfinance loans, they also provide housing loans. Now, housing loan is below the regular interest rates, below the market interest rates. And they said that they are going to give the loan only to the borrowers. Think about who are the borrowers. These are the females. In Bangladesh and most of the developing countries, who owns the land is the male. So most of the Grameen Bank ladies, despite having access to the housing loan, they cannot get the loan because the land is in their husband's name. But they have the need to take the loan so that they can rebuild the house or improve the households, right? So what happened? The males or the husbands started handing the land over to the female's name. Do you know what happened? The divorce rate in Bangladesh, in poor community, plummeted, right? But Grameen never really said that the land has to be transferred. It said that only the borrowers can borrow the housing loan. So ideas, people-driven ideas, are so important,